We're going to go ahead and replace our VVT solenoid unit. It's located right here on the front side of your engine. I want to go ahead and remove our upper engine cover. There's going to be two plastic little screws on the front side here. Simply going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to turn that and do the same on the other side. And what we're doing is unlocking it. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up, pop this out, and set it aside. I'm going to use a pair of pliers and come right down here. Pinch this hose clamp, slide this back. I want to go ahead and pull this hose back and off. We're going to disconnect some of these connectors here. Going to pinch and pull. Some of these here can be a little bit tight. They've been on there for 100,000 plus miles, so you're just going to push on that back tab there and try and work that connector off. Across the front, we have our 3 ignition coil connectors. Going to do the same, pinch and pull. Now the front side here, there are 2 additional connectors. Try and get down there with another pair of pliers. So this harness is attached to a little bracket right here. I'm going to use my trim tool. I'm just going to pop one in here and just pop that out of that bracket. With this harness disconnected right here, I'm going to use my pliers here. I'm going to reach down, pinch those tabs, and pull up on these connectors here. There's 2 connectors. So that's going to relieve this portion right here. Now we have this connector right here. We want to basically pinch down on this here and pull this connector off. Right behind it, there is a temp sensor right here. We want to go ahead and pinch the tab on the back side and disconnect this as well. I'm going to go down with our pliers. I'm going to pinch on this little back tab right here and just wiggle that up gently and disconnect that. Now across the top here, we have our wiring harness in this bundle here. We're going to use a pocket screwdriver, and there's a little tab right here. Basically want to get in here and we want to lift up, disconnecting this harness here. Pop it up like so. There's one in the back over here. Going to do the same thing. Get a little pocket screwdriver in there. Want to be careful. You don't want to break that plastic. It is very brittle. Once that's disconnected, go ahead and swing this harness back and over. I'm going to remove this bracket right here, 2 10mm bolts holding it. Remove those bolts, grab that bracket, simply set it aside. Now just for the ease of getting access to the bolts to our solenoid, we're going to go ahead and remove our dipstick here. And pop this out. I'm going to remove 3 10mm bolts, one on the top here, and there's 2 on the bottom here. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove those 3 bolts. this point here, we should be able to rock this back and forth, separate this unit from the engine. Now we went ahead and we just did a quick wipe down with our towel there. We're going to use a pick and we're just going to go underneath here, and there is a plate. Let me go ahead and pry up this plate. Work this off. Underneath exposes a bunch of oil galleys here. I'm going to go ahead and use our pick and get this O-ring or this gasket out. Now this is definitely old and brittle, so I want to make sure we get all of this out. And we're just going to work at this here and work our way around the perimeter. As we pull that out, you can see the screen comes out with that as well, which is good. We're going to replace both the gasket and the screen. We'll go ahead and install our new screen here. Just drop that into place. Next, we have our new O-ring seal. Simply drop that into place. You can press that down. Pretty much falls right into position. I'm going to go ahead and install your newly supplied plate here. You want to make sure when you have your new component that the new seal is on the bottom of this and that it's seated properly. If this is not seated properly, you're going to run into an oil leak, and you don't want to do that. Go ahead and line that up. Lower this down into position. Install your longer bolt on the top. And then put the two shorter bolts at the base. I'm going to try and get these started by hand, a few threads, and then we'll snug those down. Now I switched over to a regular ratchet with my 10mm socket. What we want to do is just snug these gently. Okay, we don't want them to be super tight. Snug. And that's good there. At this point, we can bring our harness back down and start to install the connectors. Let's install our bracket here. Install our two 10mm bolts to secure this. Once we have our bolts in, we're just going to snug those down. Now those just have to be snug. They're just going to support our wiring harness. You can lower this down into place. You can line up our tabs. Now we can go ahead and start to reinstall our connectors. And we're just going to do it the reverse procedure. Get our temp sensor lined up. Press it down, you'll hear and feel it click into place. Install our oval connector here. You feel and hear that click in. Going to get our two front connectors lined up and installed here. Once those are clicked in, let's install our little harness here. Snap that in. Then we can follow right on over to our ignition coils. There's going to be 3 of these. Click. click. And click. Install our connector right here. Install that vacuum hose. Let's go ahead and get that clamp installed. Gonna lower our cover down into place. Once we get this lined up, the back buttons will pop into place. Then we can go ahead and install our locks up front. Now you can go ahead and install your dipstick. You can really do this anytime after you install that VVT unit. And there you have it.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.